Hello, everyone. I just wanted to share a story here on after the election. I know some people are angry. Some people are excited, and all in between. I thought I thought I'd share something. It's kind of timely. It's and there's people definitely on opposite ends, right? And everybody sees it their way. And I have to, I'm not going to lie, man. I definitely feel like past experiences has me leaning one way and leaning this way and that way. And I've just said, you know what? I can't fuck with hate anymore, man. I got to roll in love. I've been stuck in this judgmental thing and hate for so long. I gotta choose love, but I didn't have the courage, man, because it's easy just to take a side and say, you're the reason why, you know? Shit, I've played that game. But then I have a gift. I'm like, Jose, okay, well then use your gift to share love. And I thought about sharing the birth time that my daughter was born. And I can understand, you know, you got a lot of women's rights going on. And women feel a certain way, some don't. Just from my past experience, I saw heaven during the birth of my baby daughter, our baby daughter. And she's full grown now, but she's still my baby. And my wife developed toxemia or preeclampsia. And I'm not a medical doctor. All I know was she was fine 1 minute and being medevac the next minute. And it went from... You know, she's 24, I'm 23, about to have our first child. I'm just getting out of the military. Literally, I got out of the military when my wife was pregnant and she was still in. I'm transitioning out. And, yeah, she's in the hospital and her body's rejecting the baby. And holy shit, man, that was hell. It just went fast, man. So I do understand when it comes to certain situations with pregnancy. My wife and I didn't have days to make decisions. We didn't even have hours. We had minutes to make decisions on how to proceed with Kiana's birth. And it gets a little emotional, but Kiana was born 2 pounds, 9 ounces. She ended up staying in the hospital for 4 months. And at that same time, my father-in-law had a heart attack. At the same time, my brother was getting incarcerated for 20-some years. We were just going through some shit as a family, man. Holy fuck, 1998 was the year. But it was the best year of my life. And I want to share, because I had the privilege to see what heaven looks like. You know, when I was a kid, my parents used to send me to this church in Red Line, Pennsylvania, in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Some of the stuffiest ass churches I've ever been to, man. And they would go, Jose, remember, I'm only 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And they would just send us to like Sunday schools. There was no parents there, for at least for us. And we would go there and they would say, Jose, if you don't listen to God and obey his commandments, we're going to send you to hell and you're going to burn in hell forever. And you think, you know, I'm sitting there as a 10-year-old kid in the pews like, holy shit. It's like, what do I have to do, you know? And they said, Jose, if you do listen to God, you obey him, you will go and through the pearly gates and pet lions and walk through streets of gold. And they painted this picture. I was like, okay, that sounds a lot better than the hell. And so, you know, I've always had these perceptions of heaven and hell growing up. And then I get to the Ronald McDonald House, which was a beautiful mansion. And by the way, we were in Topeka, Kansas. We were stationed in Fort Riley, Kansas. My wife got medevac to Topeka, Kansas because the military hospital could not handle her situation. And so we stayed at Ronald McDonald House across the hospital, and through the grace of God, we were sitting in one of the best neonatal centers, I don't know what you call it, but one of the best centers in the United States. So I was so happy for that. But we stayed at the Ronald McDonald House. So there was this mansion that was converted by contractors for free. And they made them into small hotel rooms for families of loved ones who were in the hospital. And I couldn't believe it. It was just beautiful. And so in this Ronald McDonald House, there were Black, Hispanic, Russian, Asian, mixed, Mexican, all walks of life through all different parts of the United States. And we all had something in common. We had a loved one that was sick. And so we just kind of like, we're just going through it. And I got to share this with you, man. This is crazy. Like the second day I was staying at the Ronald McDonald House, a bunch of Subway comes walking in. I was like, a Subway comes in with a bunch of sandwiches. I mean, it was just piles of it on the kitchen counter. And I'm like, who ordered all that? And they were like, no, it's free for people staying here. They just do that. I said, nobody called that in? They're like, no, they just do that. The next day, like Taco Bell, the next day, somebody delivered groceries. Every day there's somebody delivering free food there to the ones going through it out of the community. And I'm talking about large corporations, name brand corporations, to mom and pop, to the local churches. They were all giving and donating. I was like, damn, this is amazing. All because we had a loved one sick. Also in that Ronald McDonald House, we used to have our different, they had like a library, a laundry room. You'd have different community rooms that you'd have to clean. So like one week, I was in charge of cleaning, maybe the laundry room or the kitchen, whatever the case may be. Everybody had their different sections to clean, depending on the week. Sometimes you wouldn't clean your common area because you had a bad moment. I remember I used to ride into work and I would call every morning to see how much my daughter weighed, because in order to take a premature baby home, they have to weigh a certain weight. So I would call up and say, hey, they would say, Jose, she's 3 pounds, 6 ounces. She's 2 pounds, 9 ounces today. She's 3 pounds, 2 ounces. And then she'd lose weight and go back. And it's like, oh man, it's another week, 2 weeks she has to stay. Like people would go through it and you'd get down and out and they wouldn't clean a common area. So the next person would go clean it. And I watched that and they just picked up, and they didn't say to them, oh, you lazy pieces of crap, you're a slob, you're this or that, or judge them or label them. They knew that something must have happened in the hospital with the loved ones. They're like, I got your fucking back, man. I got you. I understand. I had a good day. My baby actually went up in weight. I got a good day today. Man. Lots to be grateful for, Kind of going off a tangent here, but I will tell you, there were times where I would call my wife because I'm working. I just started a new corporate job. I'm working in one of those buildings that I always wanted to work for a Fortune 500 company, something I thought I'd never be able to do. I call my wife up and say, hey, man, how's Kiana doing? She's screaming, crying, like flipping out. And I'm thinking, oh, man, the shit is going through. Like, I'm going through it like, oh, my daughter has passed away. And we found out that it was like 2 babies down passed away, because it was like a lot of premature babies. And it was real, man. And I share that part with you just to say how grateful I am to have my family today. And most of those couples in there are my age or younger. And yeah, man. Getting back to the Ronald McDonald House. We all worked together, man. And I saw this one Asian lady. She had a beautiful Lexus car, and she would take the people who had no cars to the store to grab necessities. And people that may have lived a little closer to the Ronald McDonald House, they would take somebody else to their hometown to watch fireworks. We were all working together. And I'm going to tell you something. That time at the Ronald McDonald House, it was the only time I didn't feel Puerto Rican. I didn't feel like I was on a certain income level. It didn't matter. We were all there for a reason. So it didn't matter how much money you had, how poor or rich you were, what color you were. We were all working together, man. And I just thought that was incredible. And I'm saying maybe that's what God wants us to live like, where we live in heaven, where we don't look at somebody or judge them or put something on them because, hey, they're doing this and my taxes are going here, blah, blah, blah. We look at somebody and say, man, they're a human being going through some shit like I'm going through. Yeah, Ronald McDonald House, man. That's the first time I've ever experienced heaven where I didn't feel part of a class. I didn't feel part of an economic class or a race. I just felt like a human being. So I'm going to my corporate world, and this coworker of mine goes, Jose, man, I can't believe your wife and your daughter are in the hospital and you come to work. I used to go to work and commute back to the hospital every day. And she would say, man, you come in and you're like coffee in the morning. You're just so positive. I said, you don't understand. At the Ronald McDonald House, I met this lady, Maureen. Man, she taught me how to live life. And I fucking feel ashamed that I got away from it. But it's real. She was battling stage 4 cancer. And she stayed at the Ronald McDonald House. She just fought the hospital and said, hey, I don't want to stay in the stuffy hospital. Let me stay at the Ronald McDonald House. So she would have her little robe and her little, I don't know, or chemotherapy, the bag and whatever the medicine she was getting, she would roll around in it. And I would see her every day after work and we would talk. And I said, Maureen, man, how are you so positive? And she said this, she said, listen, when I got stage 4 cancer, my husband divorced me. I lost my house to foreclosure. My kids had to go live with my aunt. I lost my job making $100,000 a year. And she said, I fucking hated the world. She goes, I was a bitch to everyone. Why me? Why this? And she goes, you know what? It didn't get any better for me. She was so full of hate. And she had every reason to be hateful, man. Every reason to be hateful. But here she was. I'm coming from a place of being disconnected. My wife and my daughter are in serious condition and at times critical. And I'm going through this, and this woman has lost it all. And here she is lifting me up and lifting other people up in the Ronald McDonald House. Man, I saw heaven, man. I'm going to tell you, I saw heaven. She was an angel. A woman who was dying from cancer, who lost it all, was still a light of love. Yeah, I saw heaven. And I'm hoping that as we launch this podcast called Shared Story with my co-host, Todd Sivan, the man who's always he's lit my world up in positive ways, that we can start to unite people and start to do something, look past our income levels, and I say look past the income levels because I've been through all income levels. I've lived in all different places. And we can start to unite and heal and love. And that's what I saw as heaven, and that's what I want to create for this world. I don't want to feel like an income status. I don't want to feel like I'm Puerto Rican. I just want to feel like, hey, I'm a human being that has wins and losses and has ups and downs and has hardship and go through some shit. I want to be able to count on my fellow person or somebody to lift me up as I lift them up. And if they're going through a hard time, I can feel their pain versus judge them. And I haven't always been I haven't been honest with that, but I'm ready to live in courage. I'm ready to live in love. I'm ready to start sharing this message of what I think heaven is about. Thank you so much for your time.